What's going on, guys? Good afternoon. Josh, we actually are both unmuted for the first time in a couple days. So
Wow. Pat on the back for both of us.
you
10
did
out
it.
of 10.
You did it this morning, and I did it yesterday for both streams. So
I love
we're
to see it.
we're good now. Grace to you, coming out hot with the Comet number one, 4-0 after this week in Dynasty. Guess who he plays this week, Josh?
Is it you?
It is me. It is
Oof.
me. We'll talk about that. But my boy
Getting
Joey Burrow bowled out last night and helped me out there.
There you go. Been getting my butt kicked in Dynasty.
Me too. It's not looking good. I'm okay with Teddy. What's up, dude? Here's the thing, right? Like I'm having one of those runs in DFS where I just am seeing everything really clear right now, which is fantastic. But that takes away like literally everything for season long, so it's the complete opposite there. But I'm okay with it.
Yeah.
So
Yeah, definitely. For sure. Um, I I don't know. Fantasy has been good to me this season. I think if you go between all 9 of my teams, I'm definitely over 500. So that's good. That's where we want to be. I think I have one league that I'm losing in right now, or have a losing record in. And no, I have 2 leagues where I have a losing record. One of them is the RotoRadar Dynasty League, though. So
yeah.
it is what it is.
I don't think that I have a positive record in any of the paid leagues at all, or anything.
Ouch. That hurts.
Yeah, it does. Yeah, Cardenas, what's going on, dude? He does have Kyler. Yeah, Grace has Kyler. We'll talk about that. Good afternoon, Lou. What's going on, dude? Keith's going bananas at my feet right now.
I was about to say, do I hear a meowing in the back?
Oh, he's going nuts. So
That's
it's
funny.
this time of the week is always rough for animals, and I know for any of you guys who spend a lot of time at your desk at home, they go crazy towards Friday. Thursday, Friday are rough for me in terms of that. And if I close the door, then he's just going to scratch at it for an hour and a half until he comes in.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, how's the doggo doing? Do you have to keep them out of the office?
Yes, Doggo is out of the office. Has to be out of the office, or else she chews cords like a bad
Yep.
dog. So,
Oh man, that's
um,
rough.
yeah, she most recently chewed my Amazon Echo cord, and like it's impossible to find the substitute of it. So I love having my little, or not Echo. What's the little one? The Dot? I don't
The
remember what
dot.
it's
Yeah,
called.
the dot.
Yeah, yeah, I have the Amazon Dot, and I love having it in my office because when I'm researching, I play music out loud because my computer doesn't have speakers. But can't use it anymore because the dog decided to do that. It's
Yeah.
just I'm worried about the one time when she like chews the cord for the PC or like choose the cord for my stream camera. It would just be an absolute disaster, and I'd get so mad. So, dog is not allowed in here. Dog is out in
Yeah.
the living room with the girlfriend.
You can see now he's poking his head up, literally at my
Yep.
microphone right now. So this is Keith, everybody. He
There we go.
we'll give him some Friday time.
Hey, cute kitty.
Throw him up on his bed. Anyway, let's talk some football.
Yeah,
Because we have a lot of breaking news coming in on the week. This is probably the most news we've had on a Friday in quite some time. So, floor is yours.
yeah, definitely. For that news, let me just get everything pulled up in front of me. Wow, we do have a lot of news. All right, let's start off with this one. 49ers head coach Kyle Shanahan said George Kittle is not guaranteed to play in week 4 against the Seahawks. We already talked about him being a good option because we talked about how that Seahawks linebacking core is kind of weak when it comes to pass coverage. And we know that Kittle is bound to break out for those multiple touchdown games, considering his touchdown regression has been pretty poor recently. So, what does this do for you for this 49ers team?
Well, he's in one of the best game environments on the slate. Those two teams are always going to play each other pretty tough. And with Seattle's defense as leaky as it has been to start the year, that hurts. I do think that guys like Brandon Ayuk will step up. I think that Juszczyk would be more of a tournament play at this price point. Obviously, a scary play because you have to roster him as a running back or a flex spot. But if you're stacking this game in tournaments, I mean, is there any merit to going Ross Dwelly? I know that we don't normally like doing that, but he's been a DFS play, especially on DraftKings in the past.
Yeah, I think there is some merit to going to Ross Dwelly. They like him. He's not. I think he could potentially be a tight end one on some of those weaker teams around the league. Like if you put him on the Saints, I feel like he could be a tight end one. I feel like there's a few other teams where he could be a tight end one too. So I don't know. I think he's at least in play. He's in consideration if you are looking for that value spot. But I probably wouldn't go there on FanDuel, but I'd go there on DraftKings.
Yeah, if you're desperate and you have to play a tight end, I think Dwelly is probably available for pickup. So I wouldn't mind going him, and you can keep him and stash him on your bench, just in case this continues to happen, which it might. It might not. Uh,
Um, Mills9042 said Antonio Gibson might not play. The last thing that I saw on Gibson was that he practiced in full today alongside Curtis Samuel, which we can talk about this Washington football team because that was the next point that I was about to bring up. Samuel is going to make his debut this week for the Washington football team. Also, we got that Gibson news yesterday that he sat out practice with, I think, a shoulder injury or whatever it was, but he was a full participant today. So, what does that mean for you for WFT?
yeah, for me, if Samuel now that he's in, that lowers shares for De'Ami Brown, lowers shares for Adam Humphries. Also, I think it also lowers Logan Thomas too. I don't think Terry's affected. I think that this kind of helps Terry a little bit, just because there's one more guy out there. This guy is supposed to be the wide receiver too. We'll see that how it actually pans out on the field. I don't think he's going to make an immediate impact, but it should for fantasy. If you're looking at like this from a season long standpoint, you should, if you have to, you can use Curtis Samuel as a flex option if you're that desperate, and if you have the other guys like a Logan Thomas, Humphreys, a De'Ami Brown, those kind of band-aids, I would stay off of them and probably I wouldn't say dump them. I would just say stash them.
Yeah, I would agree. Stash him is the right way to go. I don't know. This Gibson news, we kind of saw him already going through injuries this season. I I put out a trade, and I want to hear what you thought. The guy that I offered the trade to said he was interested. He just needed a second to look over it after he
Mm-hmm.
got off of work today. But that trade was, let me find it. This is Dynasty, so keep that in mind when I talk about it. But it was, there it is, outstanding trades. I trade away Antonio Gibson, Damian Harris, and Ramondre Stevenson, and I get back David Montgomery and Javonte Williams. What do you think about that?
Okay. My first thought would be that seems like a lot at first, but when you think about Dynasty, you don't really like Stevenson and Harris are going to step on each other's toes the whole time.
Mm-hmm.
One of those guys is going to work out eventually. But
Mm-hmm.
Javonte is that dude for Denver, I think, for the next 5 to 7 years. So
Yep.
that's how I view that. What's the other piece? David Montgomery.
David Montgomery. Yep.
Yeah, with Justin Fields in there, if that works and the Bears have their guy, that could be huge.
Yeah. So here's kind of the reason I went through with it as I was doing some research for it. Here is David Montgomery's end of season run for the playoff for when we get to fantasy playoffs. He faces off against in week 12, it's Detroit. In week 13, it's Arizona. In week 14, it's Green Bay. In week 15, it's Minnesota. In week 16, it's Seattle. In week 17, it's New York Giants. And then in week 18, it's Minnesota again. And then kind of the same exact thing for Javonte as well. Javonte faces off against, I'm pulling it up here. Give me one moment. The end of the season, Javonte faces off against the Chargers, the Chiefs, the Lions, uh, the Raiders, the Chargers again, and then Kansas City again. So like
Mhm.
both of these guys, when it comes to the finishing stretch, have really, really easy, good, advantageous schedules. So like if you feel like you're that 4-0 team in your leagues, I would try to make a move to get Javonte or David Montgomery because of how advantageous those end of the year runs are.
Yeah, I completely agree with that. Long term, I think Javante is a better play than Stevenson and Harris. Uh, yeah, I'm definitely on that for sure.
Yeah. Just something interesting to keep in mind. I was looking through things and thinking, like, all right, I'm 3-0 in this dynasty league. I'm looking to make the push. I have Cup in this league. I have Sutton in this league. I have hold on, let me pull it up, get this out of the way. I have Julio Jones, who hopefully gets better soon for me. I have Antonio Brown. I have Kenny Galladay, and then my running backs are Antonio Gibson, Mike Davis, and Damian Harris. So like I should make a move here to try to be good, especially because my IDPs are elite and I have Hurts and Aaron Rodgers as my QBs. So like I'm in a very solid spot in this league. It's just about making the right moves to make sure I am a full contender come end
Yeah.
of the season.
Yeah, and I think that Antonio Gibson is going to unfortunately deal with this injury for I don't think he's going to be fully healthy the rest of the year. Not to say he
Yeah,
can't come out of this and be great, but if he's banged up this early, we already saw what he looked like last year when he was banged up. I don't love that, and I think that they have a guy that they really like behind him, not J.D. McKissick, but the guy that they drafted this year. So uh,
Jared Patterson.
Jarrett Patterson, yeah, they like him a lot. So we'll talk about what the Antonio Gibson news means for DFS, but for right now, I think you have no choice to roll him out if you're desperate at an RB2 or a flex spot. How do you feel about that? It's kind of like he's probably going to play, but it's not really guaranteed on how well he's going to play. But his matchup is great.
Yeah, I would say you have to roll him out probably this week, unless you're like in a super uh shallow league where you have other options at that running back spot. But like for me, where I have him this season, he is usually my RB1. I just told you he's my RB1 in that league that I just talked about. In the high stakes league, he's my RB1. So like he is that guy for me. Um but like if you're in a shallow league where maybe you have other options, I wouldn't mind going elsewhere. I don't know. I'm hesitant with it for sure. I don't know where I'm leaning with him quite yet.
Right, right. Lou says he's 3-0 in the RR league, but his team just got hit with injuries. Yeah, I feel that. Not as much as Anthony, but I feel that. Uh, Denver playoff bound. Yeah, I think Denver has a really good shot at being a playoff team. They've had a really, really easy schedule, so we'll see what happens when they start facing teams. This week is their first true test. They play
Yeah.
the Baltimore Ravens in Denver, so we'll see. Maybe they can catch them off of a poor performance last week. Who knows? But Denver's defense is the real deal.
Yeah, I would agree.
Okay, let's go and switch over here to the main screen. We can talk about some Dynasty. And it is right on that page right now. So this is my matchup this week against Grace to You. I had Joe Burrow, and I said that he balled out. He technically did. Would have liked to have had that rushing touchdown that I talked about. That would have been
Mm,
pretty cool. It's one of those things where, like in DFS last night and on Sleeper, they all credited him with the touchdown for like 10 minutes, and then they took it away. So I was tilted about that, even though I know it wasn't a touchdown. But seeing those points go down was obviously not good. So 22 points in this league for Joe Burrow is the most he's had so far this season, uh, which is, when you talk about a guy like Kyler Murray, who could probably get that in his sleep, like he's already projected for more. Joe Burrow had a great game. So, yeah, I don't know. I mean, what do you think? Because right now I'm up by 15, or sorry, not 15, math, 19 against Grace. I don't like my chances as much. I was hoping for a little bit more of a game from Joe Burrow. Saquon against New Orleans is a terrible matchup, and the rest of my guys are like solid, but they're still. I still feel like he has the edge here for some reason.
I don't know. I think that I mean, like Saquon against New Orleans is going to be rough, right? Who knows how he's going to do? And he has Sanders versus KC, but I will also say that he has Gaskin against the Colts, which I don't like that matchup whatsoever. So like I don't know. I feel like Gaskin and Barkley might kind of cancel each other out with Hines being a slightly worse back than Sanders, but I like Hines a lot, and you know that. I will say that I think your wide receiver situation is a little bit better. He obviously has the better guy in Hill, but you have Cooper and Ridley, and he has Terrence Marshall as his second guy. Corey Davis on the bench. I don't know. Zach Wilson has looked awful. I wish I could be on this Corey Davis train, but we did get the news today that Crowder's going to be back for this team. So, like, who knows if that eats into Corey Davis's role.
Do you believe in the Corey
I don't
Davis
know.
revenge spot?
Oh, that's a good point. It is the Corey Davis revenge spot. I completely forgot about that. Yeah, I think I do slightly believe in it. I think I at least find it interesting. So, I don't know. Is it really a revenge spot, or is he just
No.
happy he's on a team where he's a number one?
I think he wishes he was on Tennessee, but at the same time, he earned his money. So
Yeah, he
he
certainly did.
definitely he played well last year.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, as far as like my bench in this league is terrible. So I have no problem admitting that. I'm definitely playing for the future and hoping that Fields is good.
Yeah.
Um, the one thing I'll say, and this also, there's two pieces of news for this game. One, Deontay Johnson looks like he's going to play on Sunday against Green Bay, which kind of takes away the value plays of uh, Najee Harris and Chase Claypool. And on the other side of the ball, we got the news that TJ Watt is going to suit up and play on Sunday as well for the defense. So TJ, Wisconsin boy, grew up about 15 minutes from where I'm doing this show right now. So I'm sure he's pumped and stoked to do that. That actually puts down a little bit of stock in Rodgers for me.
Yeah, definitely does put down a little bit of stock in Rodgers. It's going to be interesting to see if that O line can hold up like they did last week against the Niners. Anything else that you want to talk about in this matchup? I don't think I have anything else here.
No, just the fact that Grace picked up Deshaun Jackson this week against Arizona. So
Ooh,
very interesting move.
Juicy.
Okay,
Juicy.
let's look at the league here and see what's going on. I don't think Sean set his lineup last night, but it looks like that he got something. And I'm trying to guess who this is before I guess. And I think this is Tyler Boyd, but it could be somebody else.
Ding, ding, ding.
Hey, there we go. Big night for Tyler Boyd. 9 for 118. Had a chance to get in the end zone a couple times, but he did not, which is okay because he still smashed at his at where you got him in the draft for this spot. So news here is that Will Fuller is going to be playing against the Colts for the first time this year, which is cool. We'll see if he changes his roster because he still has Le'Veon Bell and Deshaun Watson in there.
Wouldn't bank on it.
And Dobbins. Anyway, and no defense. Anyway, it looks like a pretty clear win for KD Pitt on Team Pitbulls. Now, let's go ahead because I think we have our guest on the line right now. Christian, can you hear us and can you talk about your matchup against Giannis for Prez this week? Calling Christian. I know you're here.
Boom. Now he can talk. Or he has to unmute himself now, but I had to unmute him.
Hello?
There you go.
Hey, man, what's up?
What's going on, dude?
Nothing much. Just getting ready for this week 4.
Yes, sir. You had a pretty solid outing for James Robinson last night. You actually had both running backs from this game. You probably wanted a little bit more from Mixon, as I know all of us did, but he still got you 13.7 on this scoring system here, as well as that 20 from James Robinson. Right now, you are about 17 points projected above Chris's team, and you have some interesting pieces here. How do you feel coming into the week? Are you worried about A.J. Brown's injury? What moves could you make here to possibly bolster your lineup if he's out?
So were you talking about Brown, or was it
A.J. Brown.
Yeah. So currently I'm waiting for his news, but if he doesn't play, I'm probably gonna go Callaway, just because against the New York defense, which isn't even good. It should be a pretty easy matchup, and I don't.
Yeah, your flex spots are definitely really good. You had, unfortunately for Chris, he had DJ Chark in his flex, who put up a big 0. Hate to see that, but your flexes of Chris Godwin and Justin Jefferson are definitely solid. Need to see what's going to happen with some of that Bucks news. I know that we already got the news that Gio Bernard's going to miss this week for the Bucks. Not going to impact Godwin too much, but I'm interested to see what the rest of that health wise for that team is going to be. Unfortunately, kind of wish that you probably wish that you had switched out Brown for Chenault last night because I'm seeing that your bench right now. But yeah, I think Callaway is your best bet down here, and he should be okay in this spot against the Giants. Hopefully, that connection. I know that they scored a touchdown last week from Jameis. Maybe that connection plays in here. And we saw the Giants get torched by wide receivers every single week, including last week.
Yeah, no, I'm not like I am worried, but like I can still see Mahomes scoring 30 plus against awful Philly defense, and as well as Waddle probably getting 2 TDs against Indy. Like it's not safe for now. Like the lead's not safe when you have Mahomes.
Yeah, the thing, and Josh, I want you to chime in here with this. This is a very interesting approach, and we don't see this very often, but both of these guys have running backs from the same game on both sides, which again rarely happens. So, how
Yeah,
do you feel like Montgomery and Swift are going to do against their respective defenses?
I feel like you probably expect him to do something similar that Mixon and Robinson did. I think, but one of the two probably have that 20-point game, while the other one probably doesn't do as much, but still does enough to pay off what or do what they need to do. So I like both of these. Like it was a weird scenario where they both faced off against each other for this week, but I like this spot for Montgomery and Swift this weekend. I think both of them do have roads to success against the respective defenses.
Yeah, so I mean, I think that this is also an interesting matchup um, in terms of the tight ends and some of these flex plays. So he has Shepard, who actually I think we got that news like less than 5 minutes ago. Is that correct? I think that he's going to be out this week.
Yes, we got that news recently. Let me double check that I'm right about it. Yes, safe to assume Shepard and Slayton both miss in week 4.
Interesting. Okay. Well, guys, if you have Kenny Galladay, it's time to fire him up. Don't know about Tony though. I mean, you can maybe you can make a flex spot play of him if you're desperate. But yeah, that's very interesting. We'll take some questions on that when if you guys have any. Uh, okay. So yeah, I think that you kind of have the clear leg up here, Christian. Let's see. Let's see. Who's the guy that you're most afraid of? Is it Mahomes? Is it Keenan Allen? Who would it be?
it's Mahomes, but second would be like how you would think it would be Allen, but I think it's Waddle. I feel like he could get you that 2 touchdown game this week, especially with his uptick in targets recently.
Sure. I mean, Will Fuller coming back, I think, does help Waddle to an extent in terms of Indy's defense can't just, they can't stack the box and they're not going to be able to just focus on one receiver. So I don't mind that whatsoever. Um, Josh, any thoughts on Waddle here? I'm not really a big Waddle guy. I have been playing him in some leagues if I have him. But what's your take on this, dude?
Yeah, I've been kind of under the same boat that you have been, where I'm not really a big Waddle guy. I've never really considered him all that dangerous, but like against the Colts, like their secondary is so absolutely awful. It's just going to be, can Jacoby Brissett get the ball to him? I don't know. Remains to be seen. So I think it's okay. I think you could be a little bit scared of him, but the thing I'm more scared about is what Mahomes is going to do to that poor Philly defense.
Right, exactly. I mean, I think Heineke, obviously, we're not expecting the world from him, but he should put up solid numbers against Atlanta, especially if Gibson's hurt. And that's probably the key thing that we need to focus on is if I think Gibson plays, but I also think that he's a little bit banged up. So Heineke may have to rely more on dumping things off to McKissick. And, with Curtis Samuel back, the pass game definitely sees a bump and a boost. So, yeah, Christian, if Heineke puts up 20 points, I think that's a win for you. Best of luck to you, sir, this week, and I think that you're going to be coming into this stream next week being at 3-1. So thank you for taking the time today, sir. Any closing notes?
No, just good luck to Giannis and good luck to y'all on your matchups, and let's get this dub.
Appreciate it, sir. Thank you, and have a great day. Uh,
Thank you, guys.
yes, sir. All right, Josh. You are probably, I mean, I know I'm in a good spot again. I think that I am still scared of some things and my players underperforming. I've had I don't think I have Tyreek Hill in this league. No, I don't, but I have now lost 2 straight weeks in a lot of the big money stuff that I have because of Tyreek Hill. So how do you feel about your matchup? I know you got 13 points in the game last night. How you feeling about all this? I mean, Jamar Chase getting 13 is still not the end of the world.
No, Jamar Chase getting 13 is a-okay by me. I don't think that's a bad score to throw up. I mean, he's done better in recent weeks, but 13 points is just fine. I feel good here. I don't know if Slingshot is paying attention to his team, so I'm not sure we're going to get Christian McCaffrey out of that lineup. And if that is the case, then I feel solid. I feel like my team can do what they need to do. Right, Nick Chubb against the Vikings, probably going to be good. Carson against San Fran. We saw that Aaron Jones was able to run all over them, so why can't Chris Carson do it? I think Woods is bound for an uptick in points. I know he hasn't been getting it because of Cooper Kupp, but I think it's right around the corner from him. TJ is going to be TJ. He's going to be one of the best tight ends in the league. And I like my flex spots. They're not crazy good, but they're not crazy bad either. I'm probably going to move Ayuk in for Comet. And so, that's a little bit of a bump for my team as well.
Yeah, it is, especially if, and you can talk to this, and you're the 49ers guy on this stream. So, what does a Kittle injury mean for a guy like Brandon Ayuk, who's coming off of a touchdown last week?
Oh, it's probably huge, especially because it seems like Ayuk's finally back in good graces with Shanahan. I think that, just getting everyone more involved in the passing game is going to be huge for this team. And it's going to be huge for Ayuk. It's going to be huge for Debo. It's probably going to be huge for one of the running backs as well. So if Kittle misses, I'll be sad as a Niners fan, but I'll be happy as a guy who has Ayuk in a lot of leagues. And I don't really have a lot of George Kittle. So
Agreed. Let's see. Anything else on this side of the ball besides the McCaffrey thing? We'll see if Clyde Edwards-Helaire bounces or has another repeat performance after that bounce back last weekend. OBJ looked really solid with on the field without Jarvis Landry. I do believe that game's going to be a shootout, so we could see Beckham back on the field, and he should have a pretty good game in this spot. The real question that I have, and the only thing that you would need to worry about if he switches his running back out, would be what happens with Cooper Kupp this week, because eventually things are going to regress a little bit for Kupp. Is this the week that happens, do you think?
um, I think potentially this is the week that happens, even though I do believe that this Arizona game is probably going to be a shootout. So I don't know how likely I feel about that, but I feel like there's definitely a shot at it happening this week.
Yeah, we got. I love Fridays because people just are done with like the work week and they're jawing out and Kai's throwing shots at everybody. It's good time. Cupatron back to Earth. Yeah. So what's Earth for him, right? Like that's kind of where I'm trying
Yeah.
to gauge that. Is one touch? Are you okay and happy with 6 for 80 and a touchdown? Because for me, I am. But some people might not see that now that he is, I don't know, like scoring 25 to 30 points in a PPR league. Like that's where you would expect him to be right now. And if you don't get that, are you upset?
Yeah, well, I don't know. You're probably upset just because what you've seen from him over the past 3 weeks. But if reasonable expectations are to hold out, then no, you're probably not that upset. By the way, I had an interesting little tidbit because I was looking at this the other day. Did you know that when it comes to running backs this season, um, there's not a single running back who's had over 20 fantasy points in every single start. And there are now 3 wide receivers who have had 20 fantasy points in every single start.
PPR points?
Yep, PPR wise.
Okay, so Mike Williams is definitely in that list, and so is Cooper
Mm-hmm.
Kupp. Okay.
Yeah.
Wow, that's
I
interesting.
think I just find it interesting because everyone was dogging on us for waiting so long on our running backs in the high stakes league because we both waited a really long time to roster
Yeah,
our guys. And I don't know. So far, it's just kind of working out.
it is, and I wish it was working out more for me, but I've had Tyreek Hill, so that has
Yeah.
not worked out for me. Um, that's a really interesting stat, and it just proves again where like maybe this year isn't the year of running backs. Like I don't know.
Yeah, I think so. I think this is the year. I think more and more as you see the NFL evolve, you'll realize that there's just it's going to be more and more off for running backs because there's going to be more split backfields.
Right. Exactly. I mean, there aren't very many guys, and I mean, one of those guys we saw who really wasn't supposed to be in that situation, but was James Robinson. So, did
Yep.
you see last night? And I don't mean to talk more about Joe Mixon, but you see late. Well, I know you didn't see this, but late in the game, in the fourth quarter, Mixon was out for like it was only like 5 plays, but P Ryan got the ball every touch, and I was so tilted because he just hasn't played more than like less than 8% of the snaps each game so far. So I was super tilted because it was like the game winning drive, and I was like, no, Joe Mixon needs to be in here.
Yeah, that stinks. That's absolutely the worst, especially because you're probably sweating. I remember I was looking at my phone when that last drive started. He had like 55 yards coming into the drive, and so I was hoping, well, all right, they're gonna run the ball. They're gonna try to run out a little bit of this clock. Maybe he's able to get like 30 yards or 30 plus yards, and then they get to the spot where they can kick the field goal, and he hits the prop. But I guess it didn't happen.
No, it didn't happen, and it was mostly because of that jailbreak screen, right? But that, it is what it
Hmm.
is. I can't sweat about that. Um,
For sure.
let's talk about Kai's matchup against John because they've been going at it in the chat, and needs to be brought up here now. So this is going to be a close one. Kai has Tom Brady in the destination Sunday Night Football record-breaking night, and Stafford is playing Arizona. Both of them are fantastic options this week. Who would you pick here, and is there any situation where Tom Brady underperforms in this spot?
I don't think so. I highly doubt there's any way that Tom Brady underperforms. If I had to lean one of these guys, though, I probably end up leaning towards John's team a little bit. You have Stafford. I don't really like your running back in Mike Davis, and I don't think you have a guy to substitute in. I don't, this poses an interesting question. Do you take Mike Davis or do you take Zach Moss instead?
That's a really good question, and I think that I have to. What do they have him? I don't want the points to influence me, but I think I actually take Zach Moss because he's coming off of
Yeah.
two straight touchdown games now, and they're going to be again. I said this the other day too. I don't think that Buffalo is going to put on the brakes at all and run the ball. I think that they're just going to keep passing in the entire game.
Yeah, I certainly wouldn't be surprised if that was the case. If that is the case, I mean, I think Moss is still in play. Um, Mike Davis is the higher projected guy as of right now by 2 full points, but I think I slightly lean Moss too. Anyway, I still like John because I like that he has Terry McLaurin. I like the Mark Andrews play over a guy like Dawson Knox. I kind of think there's a question mark around Van Jefferson, but Fournette should be in an increased role. If Ronald Jones is still in the doghouse, and now that we know that Bernard's out, it means that Fournette should have a big role when it comes to that game. So I like John's team just slightly. Where do you lean?
I think it all depends on what I think Knox versus Andrews is a really, really big 1v1. I think Andrews is a really tough matchup against Denver, while Knox could get in the end zone for the third straight week. You kind of wish that you had more from Marvin Jones. Only 3 receptions, even with Bengals number one corner Awuzie being out last night. So that was definitely a disappointment. But Thielen should be in a close sweat game. I think that Henry should be able to ball that. Like honestly, that's the conversation we need to have. Uh, there's could be I don't know. There could be a situation. We'll talk about it because we have yet to do the podcast for week 4. We're going to do it after this show, guys. So make sure you tune into that after this. Jonathan Taylor versus Derrick Henry, in my opinion, is what that's the matchup. That like whoever wins that is going to win this matchup. Derrick Henry could have. Even if he doesn't score a touchdown, I think he has 20 plus PPR points here. And if he gets in the end zone twice, he has the ability to put up a 30 plus game here. And Taylor, questionable coming into the week against Miami. We'll talk about Taylor and why he's one of the. I wouldn't say he's in play for cash games. So that for me is the biggest matchup of this one.
Yeah, for sure. I think it is a huge matchup right there with those two running backs. And this one's going to be close. I think it's closer than the projections have it.
Yep.
I will say it probably sucks that Marvin Jones only got you 5.4, Kai, but I still think this one will end up being close.
Yeah, it also kind of depends to see. We have yet to see what the Rams are going to do with Hopkins, if they could put Jalen Ramsey on him or not. So we'll see. That's a tough matchup as well. Julio Jones should play, but he's been banged up all week. So again, just got to wait and see there. Kai said he sent Derrick Henry 4 Bitcoins, so he's going for 203.
There you go.
That's good. All right. Yeah. I mean, I think that having the late night hammer in Brady is certainly going to be pretty theatrical for this. So I'm keeping an eye on this one as we go into Sunday night.
For sure.
All right. Let's try to go through some of these other matchups here, and then we can go to the other. We'll go through links really quickly.
Poor Link.
He does have the no, he doesn't. Never mind. I was going to say he has the leg up here, but he does not. Josh Jacobs. If any more of his running backs get hurt, I don't even know. Like, I probably should just send him some condolence cash or something, because Eric doesn't even have a defense, and he's still projected to win. So, what do you think about Trey Simon against Seattle?
I think that we got the news earlier this morning that Elijah Mitchell is doubtful or could be doubtful for this game. So if that's the case, then Sermon's the guy, right? We talk about it a lot that these 49ers running backs usually just do well because of the spots they're in. I don't think this is any different. I think you're not necessarily guaranteed a touchdown, but you're pretty close to guaranteed a touchdown when you have a running back from San Fran that you know is going to be the lead guy. So I like the Sermon play. I think you keep him in there, especially in Link's case where who's the backup? Or, well, Henderson's on the bench. Maybe Henderson's able to get into the lineup instead.
Yeah, that is a question mark still, but I would take Henderson if he's in.
Yeah, for sure.
Oh, he did pick up Josh Gordon. Good for him.
There you go.
Yeah, his bench spots are all empty because he has so many guys on the IR. That's so sad. What's up, Eddie? How you doing? Yeah, this is going to definitely be interesting here. Let's move on to the high stakes league and talk about how I've been losing. I am 1-2 here, and yeah, just haven't, like, a lot of this is because I was an idiot and thought that Lawrence is going to come into a pass heavy offense, which has not been the thing at all. So he had 17 points, which would have been terrible if he would have not gone into the end zone to get a rushing touchdown. So that would have put him down to 12 points, which I'm thankful for that. Yeah, for me, the reason I've lost both weeks now is because of Tyreek Hill. So if he can get things going, I would really appreciate that, because my team is pretty solid everywhere else. Also, Robbie Anderson's on the shit list too.
Yeah. What's your percentage at? You're at 35% to win this week. That's because you had J-Rob. That was unfortunate for you. It's really shitty if you had to play against J-Rob this week.
Yeah, it was. I did have LaVisca though, so that was kind of a saving grace a little bit. But his team is definitely a little bit stronger than mine, especially at the running back position. I also have AJ Dillon questionable, and if I lose him, I don't even know what I would do because I don't have anybody. I guess I could.
You'd be left. Hey, Juice Check is still available in this league.
Oh man,
let it go with Juice Check.
I'm gonna get him right now.
There you go.
I'll do it. I'll do it on stream in front of all of you guys.
Done. Easy peasy. I mean, he had 15 points last week. If he gets you 15 points, you're ecstatic.
Okay, who am I dropping for this? Let's see. Amari Rodgers.
Pick him up first.
Probably Trenton Cannon. He's gone.
Oh, there you go.
Hey.
Good pickup.
We'll see. I might just roll him just because. We'll see.
You got to do it now.
Yeah, if I would do it, it would be over AJ Dillon if he doesn't play. Sure. They have used checks slotted for 5 and Dillon slotted for 7.5. We'll see. Both Aaron Jones and Dillon did not practice yesterday or logged limited practices, so we'll see what their final status is coming into the week.
Yeah.
Yeah.
For sure.
Kai says they look at Anthony's team and they just say, "Let's move on." Yeah. Well, that's
Yeah.
we make
It
fun
is
of
what it is,
Anthony.
man.
We make fun of Anthony way too much.
Yeah, I would feel bad, but most of the time he deserves it. So
All right. It's not prime time, so doubt Juszczyk falls into the end zone. That's a good point. I mean, he usually does fall into the end zone in prime time. All right, let's look at some of these other matchups here. Let's take a look at the close ones. Here's a close one. It's yours.
yeah,
Team Reimer against Team B Kent. All right. Lamar Jackson versus Jalen Hurts. What a banger of a matchup there. Wow.
yeah.
Um, wow. Okay, so what are you rooting for here? Obviously, you have Antonio Gibson being questionable. That doesn't help anything. Chase Claypool also questionable. Brown is officially clear. Is that correct?
Yes, Brown is officially clear.
Okay. So what are you most worried about here for your team?
Gibson. Really,
Yeah.
really, really worried about what Gibson does because I'm in a very similar position that you are, where if Gibson doesn't play, I am going to have to go pick up some no name from the waiver wire and hope that someone falls into the end zone for me. But yeah, that's what I'm most scared of right now. Is if Gibson isn't going to play, then it's really going to hurt me this week, and I probably end up losing my undefeated status.
Yeah, B Kent certainly has some definitely good spots in this. Denver's not a good spot for Lamar, but he should be forced to scramble a little bit more, which I like as a fantasy option here. Aaron Jones against Pittsburgh. We'll talk about him, Josh. A little sneak peek for the podcast. He's one of my favorite plays of the week. So,
Ooh, juicy.
Aaron Jones, if he's healthy, is in a very, very good spot this week against Pittsburgh. Melvin Gordon against Baltimore, not the greatest matchup, but we've seen running backs do pretty well against them in the past couple of weeks. And then he has the game that I'm still kind of scratching my head on in Carolina versus Dallas. So, any thoughts on that? I mean, you're obviously starting everybody in that game outside of like I don't know Tommy Tremble or like maybe Robbie Anderson. But yeah, what are you thinking about for this game in terms of season long? Carolina versus Dallas.
Yeah, I think you have to play DJ Moore at this point. He's just been too good over the first 3 weeks. Um, but I would be a little bit concerned with just like I don't know. I worry that he's going to get Diggs coverage, and if that's the case, then he could end up struggling at least a little bit. Um, Regardless, though, I mean, I like Moore. I like Ridley this week. I really like Cooper Cup this week. I need him to have a breakout week for me to win. And I also, as long as Claypool is healthy, then I think Claypool could have a week as long as he's not covered by Alexander. So I feel like he probably has the slight edge with the wide receivers, but I feel like I'm pretty close.
Yeah, I would think that if Deontay Johnson is clear and healthy to go, he's going to get Jair for the most of the game. They'll probably put Claypool on King, and if King's out for whatever reason again, he was sick against the Niners, so it's not an injury. Eric Stokes would guard Claypool, which it would be a good matchup for him.
Yeah,
You also
for
have
sure.
Kelsey too against Philly. That should smash. So okay,
Definitely.
let's go ahead and trying to find people that are in the chat, but none of these guys are in the chat today. We might have to just move on. Re-up is facing Sean, so we'll take a look at this and see if this is because Re-up is now 2-1 on the week. Had the upset against me last week. Sean is 3-0, Josh. 3-0 in Dynasty, and he has Josh Allen versus Houston this week, which is the nut of all nut spots. So Chuba Hubbard also in play here. They're putting him at 15 points. I think that's a little bit too high for my personal liking.
Way, way
Um,
over.
yeah, so that's weird. We'll talk about Chuba on the podcast too. Had DJ Chark and yeah, DJ Chark had the 0. Unfortunately, nothing you can do about that. Um, has the Buffalo defense against Houston too. So that's man, this team is kind of stacked. I'm not gonna lie. Maybe it's just for this week, but he definitely is. Is oh, he also has Tony on his bench. That's hilarious. Oh my god. Anyway, what would Sean do here if he did not have Kittle this weekend?
Oh, jeez. If he didn't have Kittle this weekend,
Pat Fryermuth is his option.
really, I mean, I really don't think that's a bad option. Really, I actually like Pat Fryermuth. You also have Cole Komet on the waiver wire right now, so I like Cole Komet. I think that he is in a good spot. We saw a heavy workload in week 1, but we
Yeah.
saw him take 96% of the snaps in week 3. So I think you'll see some combination of those two at some point, and if that's the case, then he'll be in a good spot. So I like his options, even if he doesn't have Kittle. But this is a big matchup for him against Re-Up. Re-Up has Mahomes. Re-Up also has Gronk returning to New England. It's going to be a tough matchup regardless, but I think that I slightly lean with Re-Up just because we did see Sean get a 0 from Chark.
Yeah. So, quick question on Gronk. I was going to bring that up next. This doesn't have anything to do with. I guess it could. Let's paint a picture for the members here in DFS and in season long. It just feels like you have to play Gronk on Sunday, right? Like if you have a tight end that you're choosing between, and it's not one of those elite guys like a Kelsey or a Kittle or Hawkinson or Andrews, you're playing Gronk, right?
For sure. You're definitely playing Gronk, without a doubt.
This is the one time you're going to hear me say it all season, and that he's a good play this week.
Yeah.
And it's 100% narrative driven. Has nothing to do with anything else. Like the Patriots actually respect their defense and their tight end and their linebacking core. So this is just I don't know. He's in a great matchup.
He definitely is.
The narrative of all narratives, and that has a lot to do with the same way I felt about the Super Bowl last year, and that he was one of the best plays in that environment as well.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I think it's almost a must play, which is I don't know. What do you think realistically he could put up in this spot?
2 touchdowns.
Yeah, I agree. It could be a very similar score to what we saw in week 1 or 2, where he had 19 plus in PPR sites.
The problem that I have, and I guess this probably isn't a problem because Bruce Arians is going to follow this rubric, is that he probably is going to just put, put his foot on the gas and never take it off. Because if you relax a little bit with Bill, I know the team is the two teams are definitely outmatched. Like that's definitely out of the question. But it seems like a spot where I don't think Tampa Bay is just going to seed and run the ball in the second half when they're up.
Yeah, for sure. I agree that this is going to be similar to when Tampa Bay faced off, I think, against the Lions last year, or where they just were all gas, no brakes, ended up scoring 50 real life points, and it looked like a Madden game because of how much Tom just was absolutely dominating. And I think you could see something similar here.
All right, let's go ahead and talk about the $25 buy-in league really quick here. I am 1 and 2 again. That's perfect. And I have Jalen Hurts, and Injector has Mahomes. So we're both having quarterbacks from those games. Again, having to rely on poor running backs, Sermon and Dillon, and I'm not too confident in either of those. Again, one of the reasons I'm losing in all these is because Tyreek Hill keeps busting on me. So I think this is the week where he actually is going to get back on track here. I do have to worry about Gerald Everett, who looks like he has COVID, so that's fun. And I had Jamar Chase in this league too, and he had DJ Chark. So looks like right now Josh Sleeper has us actually with the same price or same point total. He has the 0.65 advantage against me right now.
Nice. Okay. So I like your spot here probably most out of all the leagues. You got to worry about that Dillon thing, but if you can find a replacement for Everett and for Dillon, I think you should be just fine in this league.
Yeah, I worry a little bit because 1, he has Gronk, and 2, he has both of the pass catchers that I would be throwing to in Kenneth Gainwell and Devontae Smith, so that's really fun. But I have Tyreek Hill, who's his receiver, so it's gonna be a weird matchup this week. But I think I like where I'm sitting right now. I need to have. I think the big thing is just making sure my running backs are able to actually kind of keep up with his, since he has Aaron Jones.
Mm-hmm, for sure.
Okay, let's look at your matchup here. And where is it? Here it is. Facing Molten Lava, who has one of the best names in all of our leagues, White Claw, No Law, Lawrence. He had Joe Mixon last night. Obviously, kind of wish he had probably got a little bit better score there. You have Tanny versus the Jets, which is a great spot, obviously. And you also have Austin Eckler, who doesn't play until Monday night. So we want to talk about the Chargers matchup because we won't really discuss Monday night ever on any of our shows or podcasts, but we can talk about it here.
Yeah, for sure. I think this is a good matchup for Eckler. I mean, we know that Raiders defense is a little bit better than we were expecting before the season, but not good enough to stop Eckler and this high-powered Chargers offense, in my opinion. So I think Eckler's bound to have a good game. Seen back-to-back weeks with 20-plus fantasy points. Very solid. I expect another one here now that he's finally getting included in the passing game. I mean, you've seen 15 targets for him over the past 2 weeks, and we're seeing him catch every ball thrown his way. So if that continues, then he's going to continue being a beast at the running back position.
Right. I think that a lot of this matchup is going to yield on what happens with Daniel Jones to Kenny Galladay against New Orleans. Not the best matchup, obviously, but the volume should be there now with the other guys. I don't know what New York's going to do this week, dude. I have no idea. Maybe we just hammer the Saints defense and that's it.
Yeah, might be the way to go.
Yeah. Okay, so Mike Williams is on this. Henry Ruggs there. Yeah, I mean, your team is definitely solid. Javonte against Baltimore is rougher, but again, volume should work out here. And again, you probably drafted Javonte pretty late, probably like 6th round, 7th round, maybe even later.
I wish.
Oh, you
I
wish?
drafted him in the 4th round.
Oh no.
The tail end of the 4th round. I'm dealing with a lot of injuries in this league. That'll be my excuse here. Judy's out right now for me. So is T Higgins. So like, my lineup looks a little weak because I'm without 2 of my top wide receivers.
Yeah, I'd probably just. I know you haven't said it yet, but playing Chicago's defense would probably be the smarter move over New England.
Yeah, I would imagine.
Yeah. I mean, yeah. So, have you had any qualms with Tannehill, or has it ever been even close with Carson Wentz on your bench?
No, I don't think so. At least not yet. I mean, Tannehill wasn't really great through the first 2 weeks, but I don't think Wentz has been good in any of the weeks so far. So I'm fine with leaning Tannehill's way and just riding with him until the wheels fall off.
Right. Okay. Well, let's go ahead and look at some of these other matchups. We'll pick like one more close one to look at, and then we got to do this NFL podcast for the members. So, guys, thanks for hanging out. But we are going to start wrapping things up soon after we go through this matchup really quickly, and we will see you guys on the NFL podcast for Week 4. If you have not signed up yet, we have a promotion running for this week specifically for the All Access NFL package. If you go to the website rotoradar.net/NFL and click on either the weekly or monthly version of the All Access package, you get all of that content for just for 50% off your first week with the code StrongSide. So that's StrongSide, gets you 50% off this week for that All Access weekly or monthly package. We're pretty stoked about it. We came off a big win last night. I have not lost since week 2 Sunday Night Football, and we're looking for 14 in a row on Sunday. So it's going to be a good time.
Definitely going to be a good time. I'm excited for it.
Okay, Derek versus Darren Zanzibar. Let's see. He had Tyler Boyd last night, which is awesome. And on the other side, we have Darren, who has both of the options for Denver's passing game. Not Cortland Sutton, but Tim Patrick and Noah Fant. And yeah, I'm interested to see how that goes for them. I'm interested to see how Denver moves forward without KJ Hamler or Jerry Jeudy. Right now, obviously, Derek has the clear leg up here. An injury to Gibson could change that, but he does have Royce Freeman against Dallas. How are you viewing Royce Freeman versus Chuba Hubbard right now?
I would say that Freeman's going to be probably not used that much. I would definitely, if you're leaning one way, I would go towards, if you had the option, it'd be Chuba, but like, if you're really wanting a running back, like in our situations, right? Both of us have the potential to need running backs. You in the Dynasty League, me in the 250 buy-in league. If you need to go to Freeman in that spot, I don't think it's the worst spot to go to. But I think if you're pretty well stacked throughout if you're choosing between Chuba and Royce, I'm definitely leaning Chuba. I just expect Freeman to get those goal line touches.
I do too. I do too. And this isn't going to happen every week, but Sam Darnold took away a rushing touchdown last week. So there's always that option as well. Yeah, I think Derek's got the clear leg up here. Again, a Gibson injury could definitely swing a lot of things this weekend for a lot of leagues. Before we go, Grace wants us to look at the Dynasty League last week and look at him and Sean's matchup from that prior week. I can't wait to see this. League week 3.
Oh,
wow. That's a lot closer than I thought it was going to
be. You almost lost to someone who didn't have a starting QB and running back. That's and man, you should have lost this week. You definitely should have lost this week. You 100% should have taken an L here. This is ridiculous.
It's a little sweaty, especially because he got that Ertz touchdown on Monday night.
Oh yeah, super sweaty.
Oh, he could have. If Ertz had any better of a game there, that would have been very, very close.
Literally just moving Javonte instead of J.K. Dobbins, and he would have beat you.
Or rostering a defense, maybe.
Maybe.
All right, that's good times. All right, guys. Thank you so much for hanging out. This is our last stream of the week. We'll see you on Sunday morning for the 30 to lock stream before week 4 NFL. If you are an NFL member or are planning on signing up, we're going to be going live for the podcast in 30 minutes from right now. So we'll see you on air in 30 minutes for the week 4 on the RotoRadar NFL podcast. As always, good afternoon and good skill.